what it do, lifers? Y'all should tell the newbies they are not lost. They are, of course, in the place to be. The Life Be Lifing podcast live. Yeah. As we told y'all last week, the lovely, electric, eclectic, wonderful, witty, wise, and gorgeous Mimi the Goddess would be on vacation this week. So y'all, that's why y'all don't see her here. You know what I'm saying? So send her some love while she on vacay. You know what I mean? Um, Celebrating her birthday and all that good stuff, which was last week on the 13th. So shout out to Mimi the Goddess. However, I have a couple of fellas here to help me do this episode. If you've been a long time lifer, you actually are familiar with both of them, man. If you go far enough back with Two Kings 215, then you're definitely familiar with the one brother right here, man. My brother indeed. My brother, the host of the My Brother podcast, and also the newest member of a Quick 15 network. My bro, Reese Rush.
Ah man, my boy. It felt good to be here, man. Like I'm
Glad to have you back, man.
happy, man. This is love, all love, man. All
For sure, man. Family in the building. And of course, we have Professor Petty himself. We have one of the chat's most lit lifers in the building. The man to make you question things and piss you off at some point. Myron has returned. What's
up,
good, bro?
I ain't trying to piss nobody off.
You don't have to try. You just managed to do it somehow, bro.
Nah, man, you gotta be
It's always gonna
responsible
be
for your own
somebody.
feelings up in this job.
There it go. I was waiting. I was waiting. He said he can't, Mister. I cannot trigger you. Triggered is a myth. Triggered is a myth, Myron.
That's right. Let's
You know what
go.
I'm saying? So, as I go ahead and double check and make sure everything's going, since first and foremost, brothers, how y'all doing? How y'all week going, man? Let's get to the human part first. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all straight?
You want to do first, Myron?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm chilling. Pretty uneventful. No, actually, I'm lying. Hold on. I'm lying.
Yeah, don't
I got
lie.
back into the swing of things. I got into the Malcolm X Day at Malcolm X Park in Philly. I helped
Okay.
organize the original one, so this is the 10th one.
Yeah,
And yeah, met back with a whole bunch of people and getting back into the swing of organizing, and we about to
that's
get it
thorough.
popping.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Nothing little about that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Talk that talk, brother. Um, Reese, how you feeling, bro?
Man, I feel like we get asked this question a lot, and I know we'll get into it later in the episode now. And I think we default sometimes to looking for things to be wrong. But man, things could be better, but they could be a whole lot worse, man. And
Yes, sir.
I'm good. Like I'm good.
Facts.
And I say that, proudly. I'm working on saying that more and not searching for, the things that are rough. I'm good, man. Work is working. I'm working a lot, but the alternative is being broke. So that's a blessing.
Hey,
My car started up whenever I turn the key. I got, a roof over my head. I got my rent money. I'll make rent for June. Like, got food in the fridge. Got a load of clothes in the washer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm blessed.
blessings on blessings.
you know, I count the
That's
win.
real.
I'm good.
Gotta count the wins, bro. Gotta count the wins. I gotta put that on a shirt. Um, so since we have Myra here, folks, let's see what the chat looking like. Cause I go ahead, jump in the chat. Let me make sure everybody got the video. I guess I'll speak on myself in the meantime, between time, while we do this. Myself, I'm chilling too, man. Like you said, bro. Uh, it's been worse, it's been better, but like, man, definitely blessed. Like, just a little inside baseball. I went to work last Friday. And since last Friday to this week, man, the heat been on hell in that office. You heard me? Like I'm talking about, it's beautiful outside, and we indoors sweating.
Mm.
Okay. One of my coworkers said she's finna come in a two-piece. They don't stop playing around. And it was just frying us something bad. But by we had to they had this big industrial fan in there blowing around hot air. We had to find a way to open the windows. It was madness. But on the plus side of things, the the temperature has cooled down. Many people might be complaining about, is the weather don't know what it's doing and the rain this and the rain that. Man, it's been a boon for us, okay? Because good Lord, it seemed like I was out yesterday with some sores. Bro, that run, my body ain't been good since that run Sunday. But I had to take off yesterday, bro. But I came back today. It seems like they found a way to turn the heat off. So again, man, it's just the perspective of things, right? Like they say, it's not always going to be night. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's bad ain't going to always be bad. Everything has a coming and a going. You know what I'm saying? It, some things good don't last forever. Most things bad don't last forever. So it's always going to be a cycle. So just try to stay even keeled, uh, deal with the bad and love the good. You feel me? So
Facts.
that's just the way we're carrying it. Um, Anybody in the chat or anybody seeing this, if you are on YouTube, share the link. It is live. YouTube is live. We are going strong right now. Same thing with Facebook Live. If you are watching this on Nine Charles, go ahead, tag somebody, highlight somebody, share it. You know what I mean? That's how we keep things going. That's how we keep things moving, and that's how we keep this chat lit. Let's see.
I had my head down. I was trying to share it on this and make sure I got it up on my page. So that's why my head down.
Ant Money, what's good, bro? Thanks for jumping in the chat. That is Ant Rockmore of the Ant Money Experience, part of the big exclusive network. He was just on. So listen, anytime y'all come to watch this, y'all got need something to do beforehand, 7 o'clock. Check the Ant Money Experience. You know what I'm saying? One of these days, I'm gonna have my life so together, right? That I'm gonna show up on Ant Show and do our show right after. Watch. One of these days, I'm gonna figure it out. That's
One
on
day.
everything, and
One day.
that's on everything. And I'm gonna pull a double header. I'm gonna show up on the Ant Money Experience,
Pause.
and then I'm gonna
Pause.
come back and
Jesus.
double header. No, 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 no. I do a lot of pausing, but I'm not gonna let you get me for double header. No, sir. If I said head to head, that'd have been a little bit different.
Hey,
But that
yo.
would have been pause. That would have been pause, but
Okay,
not
all right,
double
you
header.
got it. You
No,
got
you're
it.
not gonna get me like that. Kim, what's up, Kim? See, since this nigga started, since he started, let's get right to the stuff, y'all. Um, Myra had a post earlier this week that we finna go ahead and get into. Well, last week I want to say that I shared. Some
Hmm.
people commented, some people didn't, but I thought it was an interesting premise for us to go ahead and discuss as a group. I'll read it as it goes. In any disagreement, if you're worked up to the point where the conversation needs to end, it's only because you're the wrong one. It's okay though. Not the end of the world or anything, even though it feels that way sometimes. Um, Shahi, thank you for
Yes,
joining the
sir.
chat. Thank you for joining the chat. All right, so that is indeed the premise. To sum it up, correct me if I'm wrong, Myron, if I get a misstep on this. Basically, what the
You good.
brother's saying, any kind of conversation, a disagreement that you have with somebody that you get so upset that you have to end the conversation, it's because you're the one in the wrong. That's correct.
Yeah, if you willingly enter the conversation and
Yeah,
barring
willingly enter the
anything else,
conversation.
that ends the conversation, just the conversation itself gets you worked up. Yeah, you the wrong one.
Now,
That's why you
now,
upset.
explain barring anything else. Explain barring anything else.
Barring anything else, meaning You're not upset because somebody disrespected you. You're not upset because of something like that. Another reason, you're just upset about the facts being presented. Like we talking about LeBron versus Michael Jordan, and I say Michael Jordan is the greatest. Here's my argument why. And then you so upset that you got to leave the conversation. You only upset because you feel like you was wrong, so you got to go. You or if you feel like you're right, you just present your argument.
Mm.
What else reason would you get so upset? So you got to exit the argument.
Okay. Reese, I'll let you go first.
I mean, like just to stick to that example, brother Myron. I know we haven't interacted, but any brother, my brother is my brother, so we family now. But I will say is to use that argument. If I'm talking to somebody about MJ versus LeBron, frankly, I think that
Right.
that's like okay, cool. Like I get it. If somebody say LeBron to go, I can see why you would say that. If somebody say MJ to go, I can see why you would say that. But if you
Right.
start saying, yeah, man, like cause I think LeBron better than Jordan because Jordan retired, I'm done. Because now you're just saying dumb stuff, right? You know what I mean? Talk to me about a basketball reason why you think LeBron is better than Mike. If you start saying, well, no, because Mike got his dad killed, bro. Now you're just saying bullcrap, and you're wasting my time. You're wasting my
Okay.
energy, and like I'm exiting the
Yeah.
conversation because, like, what am I talking to you? Because clearly you're not talking basketball. You're talking like, and when you get into conversations, people aren't.
Right.
It happens a lot, right? Like we're not talking about hooping no more. Like if you want to ask me and I was
Yeah.
just
But
Sunday. you
can I
know.
interject real
Right.
quick? Because you made a good point.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is, barring any other valid reason to end the conversation, if you got to end the conversation because you are upset, like me saying Jordan, dad, or whatever, and I'm making nonsense arguments, you're not gonna get upset. So that's why you got to leave because you're so upset. You're gonna leave because I'm making nonsense arguments. But if we having like a political discussion or something like that, and now you just so upset because I'm asking you to provide facts, and now you just upset, and then you like, well, I can't talk about it no more. It's probably because you can't prove your point.
Hold on, my brother. Let me
Go ahead,
interrupt with this one quick thing. Because you leading
go
the
ahead.
witnesses. You leading the witnesses while I'm fixing my stand.
Leading.
You are
Okay,
leading the
go ahead.
witnesses. And here's how you leading the
Go ahead. I don't
witnesses.
mean to. Go ahead. Go
Because
ahead.
you're saying, you're just getting upset at facts presented. That's not the statement that you presented. You said
That's what.
if
If you run
you
this
get to,
podcast back, that's exactly
if
what I
you
said.
get worked up. No. I want to the statement that you put out there is that
Okay.
if you feel the need to end the argument, if you get worked up, now granted, you said the
Right.
disrespect
Worked
thing,
up.
so we'll take that out of it. But you said barring anything like disrespect, so we'll take that out of it. But
Or
if
any
you're
other
getting
valid
worked
reason.
up, if you're getting worked up, right?
Right. Right. Worked up.
And then you're saying that it's just about facts. That's weird to get upset just about facts. That's changing the context
I
of
agree.
of the post that you originally set.
No. No, it's not.
Because
How you
if
figure
it's
that?
just
That's
because you're
exactly what I
saying
said.
no, it's not exactly what you said in the post, and I read it word for
If
word.
if
You did not
go
say
ahead, read
if
it
you're
again.
mad,
If you
if sure, for
go ahead.
sure, I'll read it again.
If you are upset to the point where you have to end the conversation, it's because you're wrong. You're the wrong one.
Right. You never said anything about only facts being presented. You said in any disagreement, and this is why I'm saying you're moving the goalposts now. You said in
Nah, don't
any
say I moved the
disagreement.
goalpost.
Not, no, 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 no,
Check
no.
the
You
post.
see,
Check the
no,
post. That was
no.
clarified
Because
in
you
the
said
post.
any disagreement. You didn't say a strictly
Yeah,
factual disagreement. No, no,
any
no. You did not say a strictly factual disagreement. You said in
well,
any.
I don't know
These
what
are
I don't
your
know what a
words.
non-factual disagreement is. Though. I don't know what a non-factual
Opinions? You don't
disagreement
know
is.
what opinions are now? You don't know what opinions are now, bro?
Okay, all right, but you can't be wrong in an opinion-based
You
conversation. What's your
absolutely
opinion?
can. You absolutely can.
I don't.
Because if
No,
you're
I don't think you
you
can. So I
absolutely
wasn't
can be
talking
wrong in
about
the
that.
opinions. Opinions absolutely could be wrong because if opinions contradict facts, then you can be wrong. You can think
So this is
that
that's a fact-based disagreement then.
No, 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 no. You said if only facts are being presented, right? So if we have
If
both opinions and
go
facts
ahead.
going on, then that allows for a varying situation, right? Because if it's strictly facts, if we're having a
Okay.
conversation that is strictly facts, that's
But
more of
you're
like
gonna
a
have
debate,
facts and opinions. Yeah, but you're gonna have facts and opinions in any
right?
debate.
But if you in any disagreement, right, you'll say we have facts and opinions. But
Yeah,
you were
go ahead.
presenting just now, and you said if all that's being put forward is facts, and you're getting upset, then yeah, you're the problem because you can't present your argument. So I'm saying
Yeah, I
here,
don't see what. Yeah, that's what I'm
so
saying.
the problem is if opinions are allowed to enter this conversation, brother, that's the variable first and foremost, because you said any disagreement.
Oh yeah, I don't care about if you're upset about the opinions because that it still applies. Like even like with the Jordan LeBron debate, that's gonna
Right.
be opinion based, but you're gonna present facts
Right.
and opinions just like in any debate. But if me presenting my argument is what I'm saying, is the reason why you can't continue the conversation and you can't control your emotions is because you feel like you lost the debate.
No, because even with the
What else
argument that the
is it?
brother just pushed forward, you're mentioning irrelevant facts to the conversation. Jordan
Yeah,
allegedly
no.
getting
See,
his
I think you're
dad
missing the
off.
part. Got you.
What am
I
I
think you're
missing?
missing my argument then. You're missing the argument all the way back to the original post. If the
Because you
reason you
didn't say it in
can't
the post
continue the I said it in the post. If you are worked up to the point, like if that's the
where the
reason
conversation
why you
needs to
can't,
end.
right? No other reasons though. So you say that in the
No other
post, but it
reason
was
than what?
implied.
Ah, see, here you
No other
go.
reason than you being worked up. No, look, it's in the post. Read it.
But wait,
If
if,
you are
if it's
worked
no
up
other
to the
reason
point
than you
where
being
you
worked
can't
up,
continue,
but then the question is, why are you worked up? You understand what I'm saying to you? So I can
okay,
get worked
fair
up.
enough.
So I can get worked up because you're bringing up nonsense in this conversation that we're going to have. Yes, it's going to be some opinions. Yes, it's going to be some facts, but you're bringing in rumors that have absolutely nothing to do with either player being better than either player.
But
That
then
annoys me. And I'm going to be
you can't
frustrated
just say
because at that
why you
point in
can't just
time,
say that?
like I'm gonna go with what the brother just said. I'm annoyed that you wasting my
Okay.
time.
Right.
I thought we was gonna actually have a meeting of the minds, and you just saying some BS tabloid
All right, I
stuff.
got it.
I'm
All right.
wasting my time
So you
talking to you.
saying
Now I'm upset because I'm
so what?
literally wasting my time talking to you.
Okay, listen. All right, listen.
Can I butt
It's
in
not
there
about
real
me
quick
being right.
though?
If we
Let
go
me
ahead, go
butt in
ahead.
No, no, let's that's what I'm saying. We having a conversation. I'm just trying to make sure all the parameters are
But even
square.
but even if you coming in
Right.
with facts and you coming in with, I'll stick with LeBron and Jordan, and you come in with something like, yeah, Jordan, something that's gotten disproved. Let's say you come in with a fact that's clearly been disproved. If you know what you're talking about, you know that this thing has been disproved. But
Right.
people who
Right.
haven't done like the extra step and done the actual research and they're just arguing for the sake of arguing, sometimes they'll introduce something and it's like, well, I actually am a fan of basketball. I know that that's not true, right? Like me and I really have talked
Okay.
about hoops before, and I'll say, like, listen, at a certain point, I think you got to throw accolades out the door. Like, at a certain point,
Mhm.
it's not even about accolades; it's about the eye test to me, right? Like, and when I watch Michael Jordan play basketball, and when I watch LeBron James play basketball, personally, I think Michael Jordan controlled the game in ways that I didn't see LeBron from like a taking over and stuff standpoint. And if I say that, and you're
Okay.
like, but LeBron got 5 straight MVPs, and and I'm like, well, bro, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean?
But hold
LeBron
up
got
though. Hold
one
up.
Bradley, and
What
it's like,
about
what are you talking about?
instead of me saying LeBron got the MVPs, I say, you know what? I can't even talk to you right now, and I storm up. Why? Okay, give me another reason why I would do that besides not having an argument.
It's called frustration.
Like
Yeah,
you gave me your argument, and
yeah.
my response to your argument is to storm off. What else? Why am I storming off? If not just because I feel like I don't have a better argument.
No, I feel like it's
I
no
mean,
point in
you
talking
might
to
have
you.
another reason.
I feel like there's no point in talking to you. I feel like I wasted my time. I've been excuse me. I was in
After
I
you
was in a
presented your argument?
conversation. Yeah, I was in a conversation with somebody recently about slavery, right? Like about the whole thing about Africans selling each other into slavery, okay?
Right.
So um they were saying that basically, well, that happened because, these Africans were evil, like, like the white enslavers were evil. See how you laughed at it?
Okay.
Because it's
Okay.
a
Yeah.
ridiculous premise to you, right? So you laughed at
No,
it. Nah, you
it's
laughed
just
at it because it's
weird.
ridiculous. Let's be honest. It's ridiculous.
No, it's
Let's just say
weird.
it.
But go ahead.
It's beyond weird.
No,
But
let's go ahead. I want to hear. I
and it's
want
a
to hear the
reach.
whole argument.
It's a
I want to
reach.
hear the whole argument.
Um, but for me, but for me, I got upset. I got upset partially because of how I see the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking you this.
Mm,
I know that you're this really intelligent person, but right now you're not only are you wrong and off base. Now you're starting to reach because once I challenge that, I'm like, well, what evidence do you have of that? You're like, well, I'm sure it exists somewhere. I'm like, but what are you basing this on? Like, don't tell me that the possibility of the evidence exists. Tell me where you got this from. Tell me what you are basing this on outside of what you just
okay.
think happened. And they couldn't do it. And I got upset to shut the conversation off.
Okay. Why
I'm
you get upset then?
again, there was multiple factors. One, my disappointment with the person. Two,
Okay.
it's an argument that I actually really do find insulting and disrespecting to the ancestors when you have it without any
Right.
actual facts, without doing the research. Like slavery
The
is just
topic
not like
itself.
the topic itself being done in a disingenuous and misinformed way, right? It's one thing if,
Okay.
like you said, you're bringing these facts and then I could counter with these. You know what I'm saying? Then the conversation is the conversation. I don't. It's not a fun conversation to me, but we can have it. But when you're just
Right.
bringing up stuff out of nowhere, like, okay, but when they got to the ports and they saw black people in chains, that didn't tell you that they were bad, that they were being abused. Where are you getting this information from?
I mean, that's
Why are
common
you just
conversation though,
saying
man.
this?
Shit went down over there, man.
So,
That was
like, where are you just getting this from? Like, don't just make up stuff because you think that's how it happened.
right.
And there's a lot
So
of
and because that is something that will piss me off actually and make me end the conversation. When you just start reaching and
yeah.
you just start saying stuff,
Right.
I will get pissed off and end the conversation.
Man,
It's you're not worth the response. Yeah,
you
I'm
call
not
everything
dignifying with a
reaching though,
response.
Larry. You call
Not
everything
everything.
reaching though,
Listen,
bro.
it's not my fault that you read Richards. It's not my fault. Everything is not
Nah,
reaching,
nah,
but
nah. You call everything that you don't agree with reaching, bro.
no,
It's all
no,
good.
no.
You do.
Things
You
I
always
disagree with, I
do.
also call wrong. I don't necessarily call everything reaching.
Exactly.
Some things I just call it wrong.
Exactly. You call it reaching. You call it wrong and reaching.
Some things is reaching. Some things is just wrong. Um,
It's all good.
but yeah, so like again, if you're just gonna say something based on what you feel and you're having a conversation about something that's that serious, yeah, I'm annoyed, bro. Like I'm annoyed, especially because of the person I was having a conversation with, the esteem I have for them, the esteem I have for their intellect, the esteem I have for their, academia. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Okay.
it's like having a well-respected peer that you feel like is just saying something dumb and just baseless because they felt like saying it. Like at this point, it feels like you just want to argue with a brother. So now, nah, I'm all right.
Right.
I'm done, bro. Like I'm done because I see myself getting to the point where I'm gonna say you sound stupid, and nobody wants to hear
Yeah, but
that.
you did say if he was presenting his facts or his opinions or his argument that you wouldn't have backed out of the conversation. It just
No,
would
though,
have
if
been
he presented
unspoken.
facts, right?
So
If he was speaking facts
that's what
based
I'm
on,
saying. His
yeah,
argument.
that's what I'm
He had an
saying. If he had
actual
an
argument.
actual argument, but he was just talking. So that's why I got upset. And I'm like, bro, like, all right, man. Like, I'm done. You believe what you want, bro. Like, I'm done. Because at this point, like I
So what
said,
I
I'm
was
about to
trying to
say you
say,
sound stupid. I'm not the one in the wrong
right,
because
and you
he
don't want to
can't
go there.
exactly. Because at the end of the day, I still respect them. No matter how disappointed I am in them, I still respect them. That's still my guy. So I still got
Right,
love for bro. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to trample on that because you have a
right,
stupid ass argument. That's not gonna make me
right. So
trample on that.
what I was trying to say in the post, and maybe I didn't do a good job. It is just a Facebook post, right? So what I was trying to
And that's why
say,
we have the
what I was
discussions.
trying to say, right. So what I was trying to say is, if two sides willingly enter a debate, right? Say if I go to a formal debate, like an Oxford style debate, and I
Right.
show up, we got an audience, a moderator, whole nine, right? And then you do your opening statement,
Hmm.
right? And everything is good. You use your time and all of that. And then now
Hmm.
it's time for my opening statement. And I say, you know what? I'm just so upset at his opening statement that I got to leave the debate. It's probably because I didn't have a good response. You see what I'm saying? It sound like Eminem on 8 Mile and shit. Like I choked at that point. That's what I was trying to get at.
Okay.
If you willingly enter in that debate and sides are being presented, barring anything else, you get up there and start saying you were this, you were that, then yeah, of course, even in an Oxford style debate, you can shut that down. I'm talking barring all of that.
Right.
Regular conversation debate. You
Right.
presenting this argument. If I am based on that, just upset, and then I gotta end the conversation, then yeah, it's probably because you're wrong. And I end up, you know what? A good example is this. Everybody say Trump is racist, right? And this happens to me all the time. Trump is racist. And I say, oh yeah, why do you think that? And then instead of going into here's my examples, because I
Right.
say Joe Biden is racist. And if you ask me why, I got a laundry list for you, right?
Yes.
Now I don't know why people say Trump is racist, but when I ask, I don't get no reasons back. I should either already know that's a ridiculous question, stuff like that. But I'm like, no. What is the actual reason? And then now they get so upset till they gotta leave. They gotta leave the debate. But when you willingly entered it, and all I asked you was to back up your facts, and now you're running, probably because you don't have any. Not
Okay.
that they don't exist, it's just you don't have them. So you got to chalk that. You lost that.
Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I could
So
see
that's
how
what I
that
was
would be
trying to get
an
at
example of that.
in the post.
I could see how that would be an example of that. I could see that.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. My bad. My bad. Had,
Um,
my laundry stopped.
that-
But no, I actually
The
don't
laundry,
think you're
you
wrong,
got to get up.
Myron. I think that there's a lot of instances in which you're saying is true. Like people do rage quit. Like that's basically
yeah.
actually using. There are people who will rage quit.
Yeah,
Like
and that's
I don't
basically
think
what I
that
was
that's
saying. That's
every
basically what I
time
was
though.
saying.
Like it's not every single
And
time.
that's all I'm saying.
Quit.
No, but I was
Like
describing the rage quit. Basically, if you
No, no,
rage
no,
quit,
no.
it's
I
because
get
you
it.
was wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. That's a better way to. If you rage quit, it's because you was wrong.
No, that's exactly what you're saying. But
That's
even
my
in
point.
yeah, but even in rage quitting, you're not always wrong.
yeah,
We're
but I
saying that
think
we
that's
agree that people rage quit because they're wrong. That is a thing. That absolutely is a thing. But we're also saying there's people who rage quit and be right. Like it's not an
Nah, nah.
it's not I just gave you an example. I rage quit because again, I know where things finna go if I kept going in the conversation
But you
where
also
I
said if you
know where my
willingly,
lack.
if you
I've
gave,
willingly
if he
got into the
presented an argument,
conversation with that
you wouldn't
person.
have.
I willingly got into the engagement and conversation
But
with
he
that
didn't
person.
present it. But he didn't present an argument. If he presented an argument,
He
you wouldn't have
attempted
raged quit.
to.
You
He
said that.
attempted to. I said we could have had the conversation, yeah, but he
I don't know, Navarre.
attempted
You might have been wrong, bro. How
to.
about that?
Uh, no, I wasn't because here I am
I don't
presenting
know,
facts
bro.
and
You
you're
might have
presenting
been.
what you think. You're presenting what you think based on nothing. So that's really hard to make it sound like I'm wrong.
I don't know. I gotta hear the argument.
I
I
guess.
don't know because
I
you
guess.
you rage quit, so you already you got the case to prove.
I don't have the case to prove. I don't.
You
I'm just
rage
giving
quit,
you
you
an
got the case to
example. I'm
prove,
just
bro.
giving you an example. In fact, matter of fact, we can use our brother that we mentioned off camera. I ain't even gonna say his name right now. But there's been times. He said you will. There's been times where he's he has a terrible habit of sharing Facebook posts that he did not read or research. To the point we have the running joke that he does not read.
Yeah.
That anytime he posts something, and even in the group chat, and he's so assertive about it, and somebody wants to argue it, we say, don't bother because he didn't read it. Okay.
Right.
Man, man.
So that's his habit, right? Now he brought said conversation, one of these conversations, to us when we were all kicking it together. So
Right.
he's saying this, saying this, saying this, saying this stuff. Like stuff that you done seen in TikTok videos and Instagram reels and on YouTube, as opposed to doing actual research on the matter. I'm bringing facts to the
Okay.
matter. Reese bringing facts to the matter. He's still bringing up something that he didn't even bother, an article that he posted that he didn't bother to read.
Right.
But he's
Okay.
bringing up the stats that they showed on the headline,
Right.
which are easily disproved by mentioning the year that it was posted. So he
Okay.
continued to go on and say, okay, yeah, it was posted that year. But do you really think that just because it was posted that year, that means it wouldn't have multiplied by now? I rage quit. Because what are you talking about? You're just gonna try to extrapolate math out of nowhere, not knowing any of the factors that created the stats that you were talking about. You're just gonna say, well, it's been 7 years since they took that study. So clearly everything increased since then, since decrease doesn't actually happen in between years. Like,
Right.
what are you talking about,
So you
bro?
quit because you quit because you was too upset to continue. Like if you wasn't
Yes, I
that
was too
upset, you would have
upset.
kept on.
I was too upset
All right.
because
Okay.
again,
Fair
because
enough.
again,
Fair
I
enough.
don't never want to
I'm,
cross
I'm
no
gonna add
lines of
probably to the
disrespect.
post.
I don't never want to add no lines of disrespect. But when you sound dumb, I have a
Right.
habit of saying you sound dumb.
Let me ask you this: if I go back, edit the post, and put the word probably in
It
there,
changes
would you
everything.
feel better?
It's not about my feelings.
Damn.
It's not about my feelings. Don't make this about my feelings. See, you like to do that a lot.
No, no, no,
You like to do
no,
that a
no.
lot.
I'm not.
We be
Listen.
having
Now hear
conversations and
me
you
out.
stay
Hear
trying to
me
make it
out.
about
No, no.
me
Let
and
me
my
fix that.
feelings. It's none about
Let
my
me fix.
feelings, bro.
Let me fix that.
That's why we having this
Let me
conversation.
fix that. Well, let me fix that real quick. I can see.
Hey,
All
Sonny.
right. It's probably. It's not 100%. It's
That's
probably.
all we were saying, bro.
All right. I
That's
can
all I was
see that.
saying.
That's it.
That's all I was saying.
All right. You got it.
Even to the truth.
It's a
Even to
That's
the
probably.
all I
Why
truth.
you
was
ain't say
saying,
that
bro.
then? I would
Even to the
agree
No,
to
truth.
that.
because
I'd
remember,
agree to that on the post.
I originally said that you're missing some factors.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing some variables. And then you asked me which ones, and I mentioned them.
Mm-hmm.
Things that would change,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? The outcome why somebody could get that upset. Because initially you didn't discount disrespect. I mentioned that as one of the variables.
See, the what I meant though was it precluded all of that stuff.
Right,
It
but that
excluded
didn't
all of that stuff.
translate.
That's what
You know what
that's
I'm
what I
saying? Because
meant.
you just said worked
All right,
up.
fair
And
enough.
when people have discussions and disagreements, anything can happen.
This is just a Facebook post. Yeah, so I wasn't incredibly detailed and probably would be more accurate. So you are right. How about that? All right. I ain't trying to get you. I ain't trying to lessen your position. If that's all you meant was probably why you ain't say that, I would agree to it back then.
Oh, because
I mean,
this is how
back in
conversations work,
the
bro.
conversation.
This is how conversations work, bro.
Just-
This is how good content happens, brother. That's
oh, yeah.
that's
See,
too
okay.
easy.
All right. You just milking the game.
Hey, bro, everything is content, man.
I ain't mad at you.
Everything
I ain't
is
mad at you.
content.
Slavery was a choice.
Yeah.
Triggers are
Oh
events. Slavery
man.
was a choice.
Even you look at
Everything you
like
know is a
really,
lie.
but even if you look at like really rage quitting, like I was playing college football 25 the other day in the back and forth game with this team. Every time I make a
Hey,
big play,
Sonny, what's up?
every time I make a big play, Myron, they call it the penalty and pull my play back. So now I'm getting angry. I'm like,
Mm,
all right, man. Like I'm trying to win this game. Every time I make a big play, they do it. So it's tied down the stretch. My man get wide open in the end zone, throw the pass, team in the hands, he drop it. I'm done. I quit.
mm,
Like, I didn't do nothing wrong. I actually did everything
mm.
perfectly right. You know what I mean? But factors out of my control like made me lose. Don't mean I was wrong. That just means sometimes like, you playing a rigged game. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's factors out of
That
your
wasn't an
control.
argument though.
Like you got
That wasn't an argument, but yeah, I get what you're saying. That wasn't an argument, but I
Nah,
get what you're saying.
with you,
I
bro.
rage quit. This wasn't an argument, but I rage quit Live 19 the other day because I was playing the one mode or whatever, right? So you don't manage the minutes or the substitutions in that mode. And I was getting busy. I had 25 in the first, and they just kept subbing me all crazy, and we ended up losing. Like every time I got hot, they subbed me out, and every time they subbed me out, we lose the lead. I get back in, we're down 15, like, and it's a minute left on the clock, and I still scored eight.
Mm,
It wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough because, of course, they're gonna start double teaming you once you get hot. I'm passing it. I got the Rockets. I got my man. I got Chris Paul. I got James Harden. They sub me in and take James Harden out. Then they take Chris Paul out. I'm out there with Eric Gordon and Austin Rivers. Y'all want us to lose.
I'm out.
Y'all want us to lose. But yeah, man, good discussion, good discussion, good chat. You sticking around for the rest of the episode, or you going to the chat, bro?
no, I can
Myron,
stick around
that's
if you'll
perfect.
have me.
That's perfect. No, hey man, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. All right, Reese. Because I'm actually wearing my shirt on backwards for those who could see. Because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. The other way, the last week, I wore it the right way, where it says mental health matters. So I went to wear it this way. Self-care isn't selfish. Always telling y'all to make sure at the end of the day, to make sure that every single day, whether it's at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, to take time out to be kind to yourself. So I just want to make sure that there's a visual reminder for you all. You know what I'm saying? That the things you have to do for self-care isn't selfish. You have to take care of yourself. That being said, that's something that men don't do enough of,
Yeah.
um, especially mentally. But if anything, I want to credit Reese for, man. He's great at making sure his friends and loved ones are attempting to, be good to themselves or find a way that he can help them be good to themselves or be good to them and stand in the gap for them. One of the things is that he was the architect of that brotherhood retreat that I told you about, Myra. He was the
All right.
point man on that in terms of making that happen. Um, thank you, Sonny. Appreciate you. Um, and like I said, that was definitely putting some fuel back in my tank in terms of, healing, restoration, friendship, brotherhood. So talk about how that came to be, bro. Like how you came up with that great idea that we all appreciate.
It's crazy, and I don't like to get overly religious. Like I grew up in church, and I remember when I was like 18, 17, 18, like we used to play these big football games. And I grew up in the hood too, but I also like started going to church when I was 11. And like when I was like 17, 18, we would play like these real big pickup games. So like the dudes from around my way with like my homies from church. Like we would play against each other all the time. And well, it was basically a regular like pickup game. We just prayed before we played. That's all it was. Like we like 20 dudes out there. We would circle up. We would pray. Then we would play football. And like the hood dudes, like the trap boys, would start to be like, "Yo, man, like where y'all go to church at? Like I want to start hanging with y'all." And I'm
Mm.
36 now, so you're talking about almost 20 years ago. I started to realize like, yo, like people need outlets. It's not just like a thing that like all men are looking for outlets, but like you're going to gravitate towards whatever gives you attention. So that's kind of where it started at for me now. And then we got COVID, we got Donald Trump in office, we got a lot of deaths happening. We had not to go into detail, but some ridiculous stuff happened within our friendships circle over the last year, like almost kind of like friendship breaking things happening, like with like people dealing with exes and things like that. It was just a really challenging year.
Mm.
I was talking to one of the guys, and he was like, "Yo, man, like I'm just ready to. I'm done with all of it." And I was like, "Yo, let's get away." And he was like, "Yeah." But Myron, you know how men do. Like men will be like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then the other guy like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And
Right.
then years go by and nothing's done. That's how we do it. Like,
Facts.
yeah, let's
Facts.
do it. Everybody game, but like nobody willing to do the legwork. So I was talking to one of my boys back in January, and I'm like, "Yo, we really need to get away." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I said, "You know what, bro? I'm gonna just pick a date and a location, and like I'll do all the legwork. So when I communicating to the homies, all it is a number and a place. Because I'm learning with men, like you gotta like cut the work out, because like we all work hard. It's not laziness. I used to think it was because we were lazy. It's not because we're lazy. It's because we all got stuff going on. So sometimes you gotta cut the work out and just say like, hey, we're going here this day at this time. It costs this much. Come. So that's what I did. I hit everybody up. I was like, yo, first weekend of April, we going up to the Poconos. It's $150 a person. Let's go. And 150 ain't that much. We got out there, man, and it was a great time, man. And it's just something that you're 18 years old, you're so young, and you're so impressionable at that point in life, and you just think that like, oh man, doing stuff like that is gay, and it's not cool, and we shouldn't be kicking it like that. Like, what a bunch of dudes gonna go out for? Like, where the girls at? Where the hoes at? Where the strippers at? Like, you know what I mean? And it's funny because some of our homies that went, like their wives and their girls was on some same type time. Like, oh, y'all gonna have the strippers up there? Like, no. Well, what y'all gonna do up there? Like, get away from you. That's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna do up there. We gonna get away from y'all. So we went out there, man. It was an amazing time, man. Like amazing time, and like one of my boys was crying on the way back. I hope he's not watching, but like we on the way back, he started crying. Like that's he's like, yo, like I gotta go back to Philly and kind of get back to like the day-to-day grind, man. And like we like just self care. As a man, you're always taught to be a provider. Provide, 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 provide. Make sure everybody else is cool. Make sure your lady is cool. Make sure your kids is cool. Um, and I think that it's an unspoken understanding that those people that you're making sure are cool are supposed to make sure you're cool, but it doesn't always play out that way, right? Like I know some people who have some amazing people in their corner who make sure that they're straight while they're pouring into other people, but a lot of us don't. Like you making sure everybody else is good, and then you get home and your joint look like my little bottle of beer right here. You know what I mean? You like, dang, yo, like I just gave everybody else a sip of this. You don't where my sip at. So it we got out there, we did it, man. Like I got back and people were like, "Well, what did y'all do?" And I was like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Nothing," and they're like,
That's what I was about to ask you. I was about to ask you because I remember when y'all did it, I was asking Nari about it. He's telling me y'all was doing trust falls and walking over coals and all of that stuff. But I don't know what y'all was doing otherwise.
"Nothing, bro."
What y'all doing?
Um,
Just talking, having fun, just releasing, like what?
That talking and having fun, man, and
Okay,
looking out for each other just in the smallest of ways. Like I tell everybody, like like you
okay,
said, I'm a person who you know looks after people. You know what I mean? Who's always doing something for somebody. Um, as if it's my duty. Like I'm always trying to make sure I'm staying on top of my duties or whatever. Like that's one of the least things I just had to be there for that weekend. Like I probably did the least I've done in months, maybe even years for real.
Right.
Like every time I went to do something, somebody took something out of my hand. Like, nah, it's cool. I got it.
Right.
Like I got up to, they was going on a grocery run and they was like, no, we cool now. Stay here. Oh,
Mm.
okay. Like so it just even simple stuff like that. Like I had to wait till everybody was asleep to wash the dishes so they ain't take it out my hand. Like because
Dang.
I wanted to make sure that I chipped in, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody
Right, right.
played a part, everybody played a role, everybody made the weekend what it was, some way, somehow. You know what I mean? We had one of our homies a bartender, so he's sitting there making certain drinks for certain people. You know what I mean? One of my
Mm.
homies worked the grill the whole time. It was supposed to be a rotation of people working the grill. He just manned the grill the whole time.
Shout out to Nate.
You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know
Shout
who
out the
shout
Wave.
out to Nate. Nate was a
Um, the whole time. So like even just stuff and trying to
That's
make
up.
sure, go behind each other, make sure stuff is tidy and you know what I'm saying, not really of
Pause.
course we men, but you out of pocket. Of course we men, so we not really like trying to chastise nobody. Like man, fold that fucking sheets up. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's probably the first time in
Right,
somebody's
right.
life where a grown man came behind you that wasn't paid to came and made your bed for you.
Pause.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Simple
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, we didn't do nothing crazy or nothing spectacular. We really just did a lot of talking. Talking led to some crying.
Right.
Talking led to some
Mm.
Laughter.
conversations and some bonding with stuff that people didn't know each other was going through.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? One of my homies, Dre, poured into my spirit in a particular way because of an experience he had relating to something that I was going through with my family, and just his
Mm.
perspective was something that I hadn't been able to grasp on the situation. So that helped reshape my entire ability to look at the situation. And I'm just like, bro, like you literally put breath back in my lungs, bro. Pause, but like you literally breathed life into me with what you were saying. And I don't even think you realized that's what you was doing. You was just telling me how things was on your side of the coin when you was going through that. And that alone allowed me to look at the situation and like discard some of the weight that I was carrying about it. So just
Mm.
we had a lot of
That's
like
powerful.
interpersonal things like that on top of the group dynamic
Yeah.
because we had the one thing I gotta mention. The one thing I gotta mention. We out there, we got the fireplace going, we got the drinks going around, and we literally just went around in a circle, just passing blessings around.
Yeah.
Blessings and positivity. That's literally it. Just like
Mm.
one
Yeah,
thing
that
just said,
sounds good.
I just said, I love y'all, bro. That's it. That's all I got. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. Somebody else dropped wisdom. Somebody else dropped bars. Somebody else was like,
What do you
hey,
say? What do you say? We ain't shit, but we the shit.
we ain't shit, but we the shit. You know what I'm
My favorite
saying?
quote from the weekend. We ain't shit. We toasted on that one. My
We
we the
did.
we
We
the shit.
did. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
It sound like a good one to toast on. Hey, so y'all gonna turn this into like a yearly thing or what? Like
yeah,
I
what's
hope
what's going
so.
on with that?
yeah.
I hope so.
That's the plan to make it a yearly thing.
I hope so. Hopefully, we get to add a couple more people on. You know what I'm saying?
And
Because
that's the
it's
thing
something that
about
other people could use.
and it's so rare
Yeah,
when
yeah, it is.
it's rare when you home that you get an opportunity to really just sit down like and chill, right? Without somebody being like, "Oh, you left your socks in the middle of the floor." Or, "Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to throw that plate in the trash." Or, "Oh, no, wash those dishes." Or, you know what I'm
Or
saying?
can I have? Can I have? Can you
That's
get me?
trash that
That
weekend.
just
Oh my
triggered
gosh,
me.
I
That
don't think
just triggered me
anybody
real
had a
quick.
vegetable the entire time. I was in the
Yeah,
house.
we ate terrible that weekend. Oh my God.
It was no vegetable. It was nothing but like protein, and we had a couple of fruit salads.
I'm about to say. All the vegetables went with the proteins. Okay, the lettuce was in burgers, the peppers were on
Okay.
steaks.
But like,
Ketchup,
it felt good
ketchup,
to like be
ketchup
like, yo,
was a
like
vegetable out there.
I know what's going on down in Philly, and I know, everybody know what you're struggling with back home in Philly. We was only up in the Poconos, Myron, so we wasn't super far away.
Yeah,
It was
we
like
ain't go far.
2.5,
Right,
like
right,
two
Two
and
and
a
a
right.
half.
half.
Yeah, like not too bad of a drive. Far enough away where you're far enough from your problems, but close enough where if a super duper emergency come, you could get back home.
You go home. Yeah.
Um,
Right,
so
you
it's
can
like,
get back.
yo, I know I
Yeah.
got stuff waiting for me on Sunday night when I get back, but it's Friday, and from Friday till Sunday, I ain't worried about none of that. I'm here with my brothers. We about to laugh. We about to have a good time. We played Monopoly. We played pool. We played
Connect
video
Four,
games, Connect Four.
video games.
Um, we laughed
We
at my
sat there and watched black movie classics, the Black Hood
right. We
classics.
watched Boys in the Hood. Yeah, I know we watched Boys in the Hood.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, nobody was. It was 10 of us, and I think it was only 6 bedrooms, but like one bedroom had 2 sets of bunk beds. Nobody
Which
wanted
was
to come in and
ridiculous.
had to lay on the sofa. You know what I mean? It wasn't no big.
Yeah,
Oh man, yo, I want the room. Like, nah, bro. Like nobody was complaining about nothing, man.
at
And
all.
That's lit.
like I always say, it's two kinds of vacations that you can go on. There's a vacation that you go on and you get back home and you're more tired than you was before you left because you was sightseeing, you was traveling, you was doing on all the excursions. And then there's another
Right.
vacation where you go and you literally re-energize, man. And that was definitely a re-energized vacation, right?
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so it was dope, man. And then like you might see your boys at home maybe once a month. You know what I mean? Maybe once a month for a few hours. You locked in this house with them for what 72 hours. You can
Kane,
really
thanks for showing up, bro.
conversations like real deep conversations now. Like now, like yo, how you doing, man? Like I know
Yeah.
you and your wife was having some problems. What's going on with that? You know what I mean? Yo, how you doing, man? Like I know you were struggling with suicidal ideations at one point. What's going on with that?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
know you
It
got
was
a
some heavy
gambling
shit,
problem,
man.
bro. Like, how you dealing with that gambling problem? How your kids doing, man? Your
Yep.
son's no, you know what I mean? Like, he doing better now. What can we do? And it's not like when you out at the bar, Myron, where you might only have a couple hours, or you talk to somebody for 10,
Right.
15 minutes, and somebody else come over and y'all kind of transition the conversation. Like, nah, we locked in here together. Like,
Yeah.
can't get but so far away. Like, let's work through all of this stuff, man. And
Like you didn't go to the outlets with us, but like even with us going to the outlets, like we wasn't on no like, no girlfriend shit. She's like, oh, you should try this on and like, but like we was in the Nike store and even just shit like that where, me and Dave, we both got big feet. So, I'm looking at these kicks over here, he looking at those kicks over there. We don't like it, we swap, you know what I mean? Hey, you try these, you try these. Just little simple stuff like that. Hey, Nari, I know you like KDs.
mhm,
They got them over here. Like just somebody being mindful. Like that was a
Right,
big
right,
thing.
right.
Just somebody else being mindful of you. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody don't have that in their life when they go back home, where somebody's, taking their time out to think about the things that you like, the things that you into, or even just noticing, little trends like, oh yeah, well, you stay wearing red and black. Here goes some red and black joints. Your joints kind of dipped. You should get these, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, right.
like just even little stuff like, you know what I mean? Oh man, these joints cost such and such. Oh, all right, bro. Like, I got 40 for you if you got the rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just being able to lean on each other for stuff like that. Simple stuff, hey, go ask that cashier over. He over there talking about some discounts and stuff like that. Go hit him up. You know what I'm saying? See what
Right,
he
right,
talking about. He look like he throwing
right,
out game. So,
right.
like I said, just in all the ways that you could receive support that weekend, you got it. Somebody got it, and somebody probably got monetarily blessed, like for real,
yeah,
for real.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just
So
just little stuff like that.
it sound to me like what y'all saying is like when y'all went out there, like when you at home, you used to doing these things yourself and basically being on duty, and y'all didn't really have to be on duty so much. when y'all was out there because y'all could share those duties.
That's
That's what it
exactly
sounds
it.
to me.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's it.
and that
Hit the
sounds
nail
good.
on the head. Hit the nail on the head. You went from feeling like you were, you the solitary soldier to being in a unit. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, strength in numbers is a thing. And
We
you
talk
felt
about
it.
obligation a lot as men. Like a lot of stuff is obligation, and like which is
Yeah.
cool, right? Should as you become an adult, that's what adult life is like, right? I gotta pay
Right.
bills, I gotta work so I can pay bills, I gotta keep a roof over my head. That's cool, but like that stuff can get draining, and depending on what your money situation look like, you know what I mean? Like not to be in nobody pockets, like some people struggling, they might present well, but
Mm-hmm.
what's happening in somebody's bank account? Like I've had plenty of times where I've been out at like fancy restaurants and I'm like, I got $150 in the bank and I know it's fitting to be 125. But I'm gonna hand the card out with a smile on my face and figure out what I'm gonna do with $25 until next Friday when I get paid.
Yep.
I hate and that happens a lot when you home. But out there it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, everybody paid their 150. And like in planning it, I'm like, all right, listen, you can't afford it, just hit me up on the side because I understand this is bigger than money. This is bigger than money.
That's
It's bigger than
that's the dopest part that he really talked people into coming like that was like, well, I got such and such. And he's like, bro, I got you.
yeah, like
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Between all of us there, we'll figure something out,
Right.
bro. If the money is
We
the
can put
only
you on
reason
like
that you're
a
not going to come,
nice little firm
yeah.
plan.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Like
if money is the only reason you're not gonna show up, show up,
mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm,
and everything else we'll worry about later, bro. I just want you to
Yeah,
be
nah,
there.
that's lit.
Like just him extending that, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he a millionaire or something like that. It's not like he, the rich bro of the group. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Where we just sit there and have parties at his chateau. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just
Right.
just somebody willing to look out for you like that. Like that's why I keep making sure to attach brotherhood to, that retreat and that thing, because that's really what it was about. It was really like you looked at everybody in there as a brother. Even people who wasn't that much acquainted when we got there, left there, like
Mm.
that's my bro. Like that's my
Mm-hmm.
brother. Like you need something, hit my line, reach me at such and such. You're not following me on such and such, bro. Like, what's your shit? I'll follow you there. Like,
Right. Like
you know what I mean?
my little
Nah,
cousin
that's
came up
nice.
there,
That's
and
nice.
like not had everybody had met my cousin before, but like
Right,
again, kind of more in passing. Like I mean, if we had 5 events, my cousin might show up to like one out of every five. You know what I mean? Not
right.
necessarily because he don't mess with us, just because like you never know when you're gonna invite him. So I was like, I hit him. I'm like, yo, cuz come. He came. He had a good time. On the way back, he hit me up. He's like, yo, I ain't know me, Nari, and Vibes had so much in common in music, and I didn't get a chance
Yep.
to talk to him like that. Yo, I really like your friendship group. And then here's the kicker. He's like, yo, my dad gotta have heart surgery in a couple weeks. I'm
Mm.
stressed out about that. Like I'm trying to do his power of attorney paperwork. I'm trying to get him to do a will. I've been dealing with that. Also, I'm getting married in November. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know that coming into the. I know the marriage because I'm in the wedding, but like, I didn't know about his pop. Um,
Mm.
and he left on some time like, yo, I really like your friends, man. Like, I really mess with your friends. I said, yo, I'll add you to the group chat, but we talk a lot. Give you, I'm like, like, this is not one of them quiet group chats that silent for a couple of weeks. Like, we talk a lot, and then he's like, no, I'm
Every
good.
day.
So that was to me like the example of somebody who even came in kind of cold and left
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, this was dope. Like I had this going on. I was carrying all of this inside and dealing with it on my own. And like I didn't realize how much I needed to get away from all of that
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy this space. And also I got to talk to some of your homies that, they were always cool, but like they
Right.
were cool in like a we
He all right.
like distance. Like, you know what I mean? Like we on
Yeah.
this live, like me and you good now, Myron. But like now we locked in the same room for 72 hours. Now I can really ask you questions. Yo, where you from?
Right.
How you grow up? Where you work at? You know what I mean? Like what happened?
Exactly.
How did you get to where you are? Now we go from being like this close to like this close. Like, because you ain't got nowhere to go out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere to go. They saw a bear. Like, they saw a bear. I wasn't
A
going up
whole bear. I don't know what these women picking, but that was good. If they could pick that motherfucker if they want to.
I was going outside. There was bears out there, man.
The
Like,
whole bears
Yeah.
and deer, whole nine,
Well,
bro.
hey, speaking of bears and deer and all that, what y'all think about hunting as one of those trips?
There's definitely dudes who would go. There's
yeah,
definitely dudes who would go on a hunt trip. Not everybody, but there's definitely some of us who would go. For sure, for sure.
we split up a couple of times. The first, well, I passed out the first night. That was on me. I ordered pizza and passed out before
Before the pizza came.
Damn.
We ended up having dude was making hot dogs. The rest of us went out to a diner.
but
But like even the last we having about that is like absolutely reflective of the experience, bro. Like there was nothing that went wrong enough for you to be upset.
right.
Nothing went wrong enough for you to not have a good time.
So,
And even when we were leaving,
oh yeah,
yeah, I'm about to say, even when we were leaving, without giving all the details, there was stuff that just kept going left. Like, I mean, literally, we out in front, getting ready to take our group picture to leave. You got one person getting a call he did not want to get. You got a car getting towed. You got beef with somebody, girl on the line. Like, literally, just as we finally, like, we walking away from this little bit of sanctuary, we had everything, like how you said, it's waiting for you on. It is like it came. We couldn't wait for
Coming
you
back,
niggas to
yeah.
come back out of these doors.
Right. We've been waiting.
Life was life, and it was just like, yeah, we
Right.
here, radio life, baby. Where'd you go?
Welcome back, nigga.
Straight up, like it pulled up on us, and I was just like, yo, that's why we need to say a prayer before we leave here.
yeah,
Because this is exactly what we are walking back into. Like, we are walking back into the field. And it corresponds with this therapist I've been seeing a lot of on Instagram, Raquel, and her views on mental health and how kind of people like over exaggerate mental health. Like it's this fragile, precious thing when that's not what it's meant to be. It's supposed to help you get through the bad times. It's not like only your mental health is only good if you feel good and if you're happy. Like
Right.
that's not how mental health is supposed to work. So it put me in that phrase of mind right then and there, like, yo, we didn't just do all this just because we felt good in the space and we were having fun at the time. The benefit of doing all this is that when this bad stuff happens, we're not crushed now. You know what I'm
More
saying?
resilient.
Whereas if we hadn't had a perfect word, bro, we're more resilient. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's sunshine on the other side of whatever just was outside waiting for us. You know what I mean? We know it's not the end. Whereas if we didn't go on this retreat, some of the stuff that happened might have had somebody at the bottom of a bottle. It might have had somebody, looking at their gun a little bit too closely. You know what I'm saying? It might have had somebody in places they wasn't supposed to be. Or it just might have somebody balled up in a corner crying and not reaching out to any of us for help. Like that's the worst part. That's the worst part, I think, of the struggles that men carry is that you have some men who have friendship groups like this. And because of everything, you don't even think to use it.
yeah. That's what I was
You
about
know
to
what I'm
say.
saying?
I
That's
think
the worst part, not being alone and staying alone.
And I think
Because
what
that's
it
just
is,
how we wired to behave. That's just how we've been, conditioned to behave. And we gotta break out of that.
yeah, yeah,
We gotta break out of that. We gotta use each other as resources. You know what I'm saying? I like how Reese used to say, we've gotten to the point in our lives where when one of our brothers is not doing well, we want to get him out. The last thing we say is, let's go get something to drink.
Right.
Most dudes, that's going to be the first thing. Hey, man, come on, take you to the bar. We get a couple drinks. We talk this out.
right.
But that's literally like one of the last things that's brought up. Hey, yo, bro, come on, man. You like comic books. We going to the comic book store, bro.
We actually got a brother.
Hey, you like hoops? Let's go shoot some. Let's go shoot some hoops. I'm ass, but you could play.
Right,
I'm just gonna be your rebounder.
right.
You know what I mean? Let's just go sit outside and talk. I would just sit with you on the curb and you could talk my head off the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You got
You
what
know what I'm
list you
saying?
was saying?
We actually got a homie who like we chat now. If he say he want to come, like, yo, you good? Like, yeah, I mean, because we won't order any drinks because I know you're trying to clean that up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's none of us that's willing to I'll use the word inconvenience for lack of a better term, but like it's none of us that's willing to not indulge
Accommodate.
in drinking, right?
There
Accommodate
we
him
go.
because we know where his journey is, right?
Right.
And I think that to me, I stepped away with like, yo, man, you got to reinvent what a guy's trip look like, right? Because
Yeah.
and most people hear God's trip, they think a bunch of dudes going out getting that woman, partying hard, going to strip clubs, like drinking and
Drugs.
drugs, taking chicks back to the room and going. And like, nah, I don't even know if we saw any woman before we were leaving and went to the diner. You know, like,
that's that's really the first woman we saw, bro.
yeah,
That night we went out to go get food.
that was like the
A
first woman
server.
we saw. Like,
Okay.
and you know, I wish that younger guys, I know younger me wouldn't have been
Yes.
willing to do something like that. Younger me was always on
Facts. You couldn't have got 25-year-old me to go.
like,
You couldn't have got 30-year-old me to go.
right. I was always on a mission back then. I'm
You
like,
couldn't
all
have
right,
got 30-year-old me to go. What we doing?
okay, cool. Who next door? Like,
Who,
who next door? Who down the road?
what we doing? Who all going? Oh,
Right.
that nigga lame, man. No,
Mhm.
I'm cool.
You know, as you start to approach your 40s and in your 50s, for some of us, is like that. One, you should have had enough women where you're not that pressed. Me and I say it all the time. If you are a person that can say I'm good on women, I don't necessarily want to hang around you. Like, if you can't refuse a woman's advances, then
You can't be trusted.
yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
can't
just say it
trust.
flat out. You can't be trusted. Stay away from me.
Like, you can
Stay
go
away
on
from me.
fire,
Oh
put that
God.
put the post that on fire if you can't refuse a woman's advances.
Yeah, yeah. That means you can't be trusted. I'll stand on that. No ifs, ands,
Absolutely.
maybes, whatever.
Absolutely.
I'll stand absolutely on that. Hey y'all, we
Right.
got Kane in the chat because we mentioned the drinking and Kane said I think drinking helps me more. It opens up more. You just don't let them get drunk. You just loosen the feeling. So do anybody want to speak to that before I do?
Yeah, you gotta know your limits. Everybody don't have the stop button. Like, plain and simple. Like, transparently, I barely have the stop button. Like, like once I start, like when I start, I'm going. Like, case in point, right? Like, when I start, I'm going. Like, but my thing is, like, I'm mindful to not start every day because once I know I start, like, I'm going. So everyone isn't able to just say, like, all right, cool, let me take one beer to loosen up, let me take one shot to loosen up and cut it off. Some people are, like, I noticed some of the people that we were with, like, in the morning was like taking them back. You know what I mean? In the morning was doing it. I'm like, bro, it's too early for me to be drinking. So I think that shout out to you, King. Not no King outside of here. Shout out to you, King, for
Right,
being able to say, like, I think drinking helps me. But I think the important part of what he said is it helps me. There's some
right.
that like you can't get that ball rolling because, like, all right, now we turn it up all day, and then some people get drunk and they get to the point of getting drunk. I'll fall asleep when I get drunk. That's the other thing too.
That's a fact.
I don't want to stop.
That's a
Like,
fact.
I'm not like a dude that'll get drunk and want to fight and argue or nothing. I'll fall asleep. Like, I'll be the dude sitting there like
He
knocked
gonna
out.
pull up next to you. He gonna say something to you like you having a conversation. You gonna look back and he's gone.
I'm
Knocked. Straight up
we
knocked.
know people that are like drawing drunks. Like, we know who they are.
Yeah, we know
Gotta
who
be
those type
mindful of
people
them
are.
people. And that's the other thing, that being locked into a house with somebody for 72 hours straight, man, you get to know these vices or how bad they are,
Yeah,
how much you might have been downplaying them in those small sample sizes to you that you see. And then you see a vice and it's like, dang, yo, like, he drinking again? Dang, he got another glass? Dang, yo, he hitting a bong? He just woke up. Why you hitting the bong? Dang, he out there hitting the phone again. I thought he just hit it a couple hours ago. And obviously, that's not the place to go call nobody out per se.
Right.
But now you're mindful when you get back to Philly. Like, damn, yo, like I saw how hard you go in a good environment. So when stuff get rough, okay, cool. I know I gotta latch on to my brother because I saw
Right.
how it was when things were going well, when we were all laughing and having a good time, and he was in his safe space. So when he depressed, when his wife get on his nerves, when his girl get on his nerves, when he can't see his kids, my nigga might spiral. So
Hmm.
I make sure I lock into him and make sure he good. Call him, yo, good, you good? I'm thinking about you. Yo, let's get out. Yeah, let's get no, we're
Yep.
not drinks. Like we're not getting no drinks. Let's run to Sabrina's. Grab some breakfast food real quick. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we not doing that. Yeah, yo, no, come stay at my crib. No, I ain't got nothing to drink here.
Right.
My crib. Like, you know what I mean? So it
So
helped.
Kane, to be specific, my bad, Reese,
No, you
because
good.
he said we're talking about God trips. No, that's just kind of an example of what we're talking about. So I don't know if you peeped in the header, but I emphasized the men in mental health, and what we're talking about is men's mental health and things that we've participated in to try to improve it. So the brotherhood retreat that me, Reese, and a lot of our friends went on, we was just kind of detailing that for Myron, who didn't who wasn't able to go with us on that trip. But hopefully in the future when we have one, hopefully I mean he'll be able to pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, make it happen.
Um, so yeah, that's more what we talk about. I think the next example I'll use is the runs that we have. Every now and then,
You talking about
is that a
PG?
real person behind you?
About
No,
Superman?
that's Henry Cavill. That's Henry Cavill.
Superman. Oh,
That's Cavill man behind me. You know what I mean? Um,
hey man.
but yeah, so y'all about to say, yeah, he's a big Superman fan. Loser. I am gonna go watch the new movie when it come out though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Our boy, we was talking about Myron been trashing that movie too, and I'm convinced he ain't.
What the
I'm not even
Superman?
convinced he's seen the
Superman died at
trailer.
the end of that new Jones. By the way,
I'm not convinced he's seen the trailer.
but yeah, so I think the runs is another good example. So every now and then Reese will hit us up and be like, who's ready to, who's down to hoop, such and such day. We used to do outside way more, but every now and then, he'll put up the funds to rent a gym, this specific gym that we hoop at. And everybody runs him back the money at the end of the runs. So he just, puts up the front money for us to go hoop. And I know for me, the hardest part was when I had my Achilles tear and they was doing the runs. That was the hardest part for me because I looked forward to that fellowship, that brotherhood, that good game or bad game, we gonna chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you not playing, you sitting down there, you talking with your brothers. We had, the one homie who bring his son. And we remember, how long we've been playing together because how small his son
What?
was to how tall he
yeah,
is now. You know what I'm saying? Being
right.
a high schooler, like he couldn't even play with us. Now he gets on the court with us. I mean, he ain't beating us, but still, we have our other homie who brings
Not
his
yet,
son,
not
and
yet.
we have our other homie who brings his son. And remember how small he was when he first used to come. I used to work him out at Cobb's Creek from time to time. And now, he's taller than all of us. So, like, just
Yeah,
stuff like that
Hear
helps
that?
put things helps put things in perspective in terms of how close we are. So, like, there was a time I came to the runs even with my boot. I couldn't hoop. I just didn't want to miss out on the fellowship anymore. Like I was really
right.
sad that I missed out on the last couple because it's just good to be in the presence of people who genuinely care about you, who
Mm,
want the best for you, who ask about your kids, and not just in that passing way, like, oh, hey, how's the kids? Like I had my older son at one point in time was being bullied, and I was losing my mind because I was like, I'm going to fuck somebody up if I hear another word about somebody saying something crazy or trying to touch my child, like put hands on him,
Right.
I'm going to just go up to the school. I'm going to wait for somebody's parents to pick them up, and here we go. Like, I,
Right.
because at that point I asked to speak to certain kids' parents, and those parents would not pull up. So I'm like, okay, cool. I know where to catch y'all though. So now I'm on some other type time, and my son stopped telling me what was going on, but I could tell something was still going on. So it was just like I was losing sleep behind it. And I happened to pull up again. I can't hoop. I got this boot on. And my man Watt was there, and another guy who I don't even remember the brother name. He don't typically hoop with us. He was dark skinned brother. He don't typically be there with us, but he was there on this particular day. And I was telling Watt what was going on because he asked. We all know our kids by name. So he's like, how's Nick doing? He's about to go to high school, right? He's in middle school, right? How's he doing? And I just start getting frustrated just thinking about it. I'm like, yo, somebody picking on him. And he's like, we gotta go up there and fuck somebody up. I said, I don't want to get you booked, but you might have to add some money aside for me because you know what I mean, I'm ready to slide. And he's like, well, what's going on? So I told him how, Nick wasn't telling me anything anymore. And both these brothers just like literally pulled me to the side and was like, we get where you at, but you gotta be what he needs as opposed to what you think you should be. And at first I wasn't getting what they were saying because I'm like, I didn't have a dad who was going to go to the school and bust heads. I had a mom who was going to come to the school and bust heads, but you know what that looked like if your mom come to the school behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a catch-22. She gonna ride for you, but you also look like the biggest bitch.
Right.
So you don't really want to call on her. Whereas in call on dad, I remember in school what dudes used to look like when somebody's dad showed up.
Right.
They look like they pee in their pants. Like, all right, I ain't gonna touch you. I ain't gonna mess with your kid no more. My bad. My bad. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to be that. And they like,
Right.
yeah, we get it, but like you gotta you gotta find out if that's what he wants for you. If he wants you to be rah-rah, go be rah-rah. But if he just wants to tell you because he just wants to talk about it and get it off his chest, you gotta allow for that too. And I'm like, man, hell no. I'm not sitting there watching my son get frustrated and cry when I could just go ahead and go bust somebody's daddy head. But what are we talking about? What are we even talking about here? Y'all crazy. And it's just like a 30-minute conversation. I don't know whether they was done playing or whether they just what it really felt like was that they were just more concerned about trying to get me to understand. So
Yeah.
they both told me situations, and it's just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna try it y'all way. If it don't work, next time I see y'all, might be in cuffs, but you know what I mean. I try. I'm gonna let y'all know I tried it y'all way,
Right. So it turned
and
into an intervention.
they was for real, for real,
Right.
for real, for real.
Gotcha.
I can't even contradict that.
Right.
That's pretty spot on. It ended up turning into an intervention. I'll say that, and not just an intervention, an assistance in terms of helping me be able to bridge the gap with whatever it was I was missing, man. Um, because it helped me connect with him. It helped me be there for him in the way that he needed me to be there for him. And he
Right.
actually came out and told me, he was like, Dad, I just wasn't telling you because you look really intimidating. I don't know if you know, but you scare the staff. You don't just scare the kids, you scare the
Nah,
staff.
man. Nah, man.
And I'm sitting there thinking he just hyping it up. I'm thinking he's just gassing it up. And he's like, no, no, no. You scared the staff because you look like somebody who came in with a gun. He's like, you just have this look on your face where it's not just rage, but it's like you know who you're going after. And I hear them in the hallways talking the two times that you came. Like, I don't want you to be banned from my school. And I don't want nobody thinking that they have to do something to you before you could do something to them. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
they're not 100% wrong. If they had kept messing with you, they might have had to. And he's like, but that's not what I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff I know I get upset about, but it's not the end of the world. Like, I'll get over it. I'll be fine. Once I'm out of this school, I don't have to see them people no more. But you always gonna be my dad. And I don't want you coming in here and doing something that's gonna put you in a bad situation. Like the fact that he was even thinking about me on that level while he chose not to say anything was something that just wasn't connecting
Right,
until I
right,
had the conversations with those two brothers. So if I just decided, yeah, I can't hoop, so I can't go, I don't have that conversation, who knows how things go?
right,
My son might have been upset with me because of the way I chose to carry things. And now I'm sitting here trying to ride for him, pissed him off or embarrassed him or scared him in some way. You know what I'm saying? Got him scared for me. Now we can have channels of conversation. Now I'm learning to be more patient, less reactionary. Now I'm learning, okay, hey, how do you want that simple phrase? Well, son, how do you want to handle this?
right.
Change the whole complexion of the situation. Because now instead of, sitting there calling the school, hey, if such and such isn't there, y'all gonna hear from me in like 3 days and y'all not gonna like what y'all hear. Now it's, excuse me, can I speak to such and such? Yeah, I know you put me on the phone with such and such last time, but I would rather just bypass that and just talk to this person because I understand that this person has this level of power. And I'm going to send a letter with an
Right.
attorney's name attached if that's how things have to go. Like I'm going to press charges on this kid. So just those kind of stuff, like I said, man, having that in a sitting where I can't where we supposed to be playing basketball. Like that's the real reason we supposed to be there. But just the fellowship and the brotherhood and what pours out of that. I mean, what, 15? Most we had to chip in was 25 because a
Yeah,
lot of people didn't show that one time.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't beat that for $25. You can't beat an intervention.
Right.
You can't beat an intervention and help with your kid for $25, bro. Like that's a therapy session. That's one therapy session.
Hmm.
Facts.
You know what I mean? You can't beat that. So like, you know what I mean? On top of the fact that the runs, the physical aspect, the benefits that you get from the cardio and stuff like that. Even
Right,
just
right,
the
right.
testosterone, getting that out in a positive and unthreatening way, being able to talk your shit, yell at guys and, point fingers and talk crazy, but not at a level where it's like genuinely disrespectful.
Right,
Um,
right.
bro, like all of that is just, and I think it's better with those kind of things happening inside the gym and just this space as opposed to outside because outside other people see it
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
and may misinterpret it. You know what I'm saying? Or
Hmm.
even worse, what I call the dick eaters will see that and then think they could come over there and start kicking it with us like that.
Right, right.
Because
Right.
there's nothing worse than when you sitting there talking with your homie, you know what I'm saying, and somebody come over there and think they could get in on the bid. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Right, right.
Don't do that. So yeah, no, definitely the brotherhood runs is definitely a good recharge for the mental space.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds
especially
good.
for somebody who's a basketball junkie like me, man. Basketball has always been a safe haven for me. Whether I play good, play bad, it's just the opportunity to play.
I
Yeah,
played
I'm
terrible.
trash. I'm trash, man.
I played
That's cool. We got people who there who come and be trash.
I'm straight
me and
garbage.
I both had really rough outings on Sunday.
Oh my god, that was terrible, bro.
It was a rough
I had to
outing.
I had to
Boy,
walk
John,
out
I
one game
feel
because
that.
of injury. I had to walk out half a game because of injury. I felt it coming on. So
Damn.
It was funny. Now I was on a pod. I was not. I was on a panel once, and the guy said that the three areas where men kind of get their worth from, and he said the billfold, talking about money. He talked about the
mm-hmm,
bedroom, and he said the
mm-hmm.
basketball court. So that's
Yep.
three areas where men get their worth from. It. Basketball court, obviously talking about sports in general, but
Yeah.
when we hoop, it's like you get the chance to be free. If you're frustrated, you get to take some of that aggression out. Like not too much because we all cool. Like
Right.
Like, don't follow me hard because we might have to fight. I think I was talking to Nah about like one point, one of our mutual friends, me and one of our mutual friends was going through something, and he invited me out the hoop like the day after the thing happened, and I was like, nah, I can't show up the hoop, man, because I know I'm gonna drive to the rim super aggressive for him to hit me. Just so I got an excuse to swing, like, but like generally speaking, like, I said I can't. I was like, I can't hoop with him, man, because I'm gonna drop it, he gonna find me, then we gonna fight. But like in general speaking, it's a good release. It's a good time to connect with everybody. Um, it's exercise, right? It's the one area that even
And
if
let
you
me
don't,
interject this right quick. It's funny, but even if a fight break out, we still good.
right?
I was
It's the
about to
worst
say,
case
yeah,
scenario.
y'all might as well
It's
break the
the
boxing gloves up.
it's the worst case scenario, but it's still good, especially if it was to happen in that kind of space, because nobody's going to let it get to where somebody gets seriously injured or seriously
Right,
harmed.
right, right,
We just going to let y'all go ahead and get y'all frustrations out. You know what I'm saying? Make y'all
right,
shake hands at the end, and we back, bros. Like
right back.
Especially if everybody know what's happening too, right? Like
facts. Now
if
that's
everybody,
one thing. If we feel like this coming out of nowhere, we not going to let it happen because we don't know how deep the situation might be. But like if we got an idea of what this is really about, we see maybe it's been building up. It's like, all right, man, just level two, go ahead and squabble and get this over
Yeah,
with.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
get your ass.
Yeah, they squabbling up here now.
So
You know what I
like
mean?
for me, it's good, man. Like I remember my mom, rest her soul, will always tell me, and just like a real quick history about me. My son is special needs; he's nonverbal. You see the wristband, and
Okay.
every other week, when we were still playing outside, every other Saturday morning we were playing, and my mom would watch my son on those Saturdays where I would go. She passed away in 2022, but I remember before my mom passed away, she would be like, "Son, the reason I keep watching your son while you go play is because you get so happy the night before and the morning of, and I just love to see how happy you are when you drop him off to me, and then afterwards, as tired and sore and limpy as you are, just how happy and relieved you look afterwards. You know, Myron, mom said it is true. Like,
Right, right,
mom said it is
right.
true. Like, and like I remember telling her one time, like, mom, it's not just me; it's everybody that show up. We all are like, "Bad, we go get the hoop, talk a little bit of trash. Don't let me have a good game." I still think I'm a trash talker on the East Coast. Let me have a good game, then I'm on a high the rest of the day. Like,
Facts.
you know what I mean?
Running a Facebook post after.
Right.
Mm,
And then as you get older, you start to recognize like whatever hoop dream or NBA dream that you might have had faded. And like I'll tell people now, like my goal when I hoop now is I don't get hurt and I score a few points. I won. I don't even know what the final score of the games be half the time. Like, I know if I scored a few buckets and I'm not injured at the end of the game, I won. So like once you get to that age where like yeah, NBA hoop dreams, I got to be the best dude on the court every game. I got to score every point every game. Once that dream ends for you, which most of us are in our late 30s, early 40s, that's playing
Hmm.
like you know you out there to play a role. You know you out there to play some defense, grab some boards, throw, you know what I mean, some assists, like, and you walk away at the end uninjured like you had a good time. You broke a sweat. You got to
Yep.
connect with your homies again. We were out there on Sunday. Our time at the gym ended at 7. Four of us sat in there and just sat there for like an hour and watched the next
Yep.
group play and just kept talking. So very,
Yeah,
very
we've never just left after we finished.
never. Yeah,
we've
it's always
never, we've literally never just left after we were done hooping. It's
mm-hmm,
always like, post game chatter, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of be about what actually happened out there, but really the rest be catch up, checking on each other, you know what I'm saying? Maybe making
right,
plans
right.
for another situation. They got nothing to do with hoop. Kane, I seen you said a couple of things. Let's get to that. I wish I had guys like y'all who could probably thrive in an all male group and we create an environment where we could be ourselves like the barbershop. Um,
Facts.
find your tribe, bro. Find your tribe. It exists everywhere. Everywhere there's dudes that wish they had, what we had. Like I got inducted because me and Reese was working together. Like a
Yeah.
lot of these people is, friends he grew up with, people he went to church with, stuff like that. I just happen to be blessed to work with him. We end up being cool. Um, and he inducted me in. You know what I'm saying? I got drafted. Um, and that's just how it happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? My man said, who a childhood friend of mine, he started coming to the runs because you know what I mean. We start finding mutual acquaintances, mutual friends. He know a couple of guys that's already part of the group, and things just continue to extend for them. Quite a few of them I've realized without me ever introducing them to my younger brother, know my younger brother. Like, so stuff like that. So I encourage you, Kane, even if you got to start this tribe digitally, like I see you said you started a group or whatever, and you was like, you gave it up because, dudes thought a group full of dudes was going to be gay. And that's not the, you know what I mean? That's not the dudes you want to rock with. So
Right.
like I said, just start it out with dudes that you think is solid. Maybe they not all in your area where you live at. I ain't gonna put that out there, but maybe they not all in that area. Maybe dudes from your area is weird, so it's a little bit harder to unify in that fashion. So get the couple of dudes, even if it's just a couple of dudes you cool with from Mad or from Heathens or from whatever groups you in, the dudes who you can actually talk to, the dudes who you could actually bond with, start from there and let everything else branch off, bro. Like I didn't have this friend group until I had it. I have multiple friends. I had friends before Reese. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't this. It wasn't this concentrated. It wasn't this dependable. It wasn't this powerful. So it just happened to be that. Like we ended up playing on a team together in the league for a couple of years. And after that, I was just part of the fold. Like it wasn't just like, all right, end of the season. All right, I'll see y'all. Where you going?
It's
What
crazy.
you mean? No, we going to get something to eat. Yeah, no, I hear that, but I'm about to head home. No, you're coming with us to get something to eat. Bro, I'm penny pinching and I got food at home. Good game. I'll see y'all later. Man, if you don't get in your car and drive to Chipotle and let me buy you a burrito bowl, I'ma stand on you. Like, come on. Like, we gonna jump you. You coming with us or you coming with us? That's really it.
And it's crazy now because the two dudes on the team who don't really come around. Well, one, Keith still pop up from time to time. It's like
Facts.
he never skipped a beat. Like, and
Yeah, every time you show up.
Keith was like our best player the first season, and then he
Yes, he was.
messed his knee up. And he couldn't play after that.
Right.
When he show up, it's still like, yo, we ain't never skipped a beat. G,
Facts.
I haven't seen G since we played in the league, but if I saw G, it would be like the league was last month. Yo, what's going on, bro? Like, you gotta start coming around. What's your number? What's going on?
Yeah, no hard feelings whatsoever, man. Even after that disastrous first season, still wasn't no hard feelings.
0-7 that first season. That was a rough job. Rough job.
I never went undefeated in a season in my life until then. I did not want to see you niggas no more. I took the shirt off and tried to throw it in the trash. Somebody caught it and brought it back the next time. The next time y'all called me out the hoop, it's like, here, bro. Like, don't be like that. But like I said, even just simple stuff like that, bro. Like I'm frustrated because the game I felt like we could win, the last game, we still couldn't win. Like I take back at that point, I wasn't like you said, I didn't have no career hoop dream, but I take competition seriously, and I felt like we got
Right.
punked. So I was upset because I couldn't change that situation. I wasn't even like mad at them, like y'all ass, man, y'all holding me back. Like I felt bad because I couldn't do enough for them. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't make the things that normally had been happening for the season. I couldn't make it happen that game. I was like, I cost them the game. I was mad. So I ain't want nothing to do with them or the uniform or nothing like that. But
Right.
so I thought I was never going to see that shirt again. What's funny is I don't even have the shirt from the second season. I have the shirt from the first season.
You got the purple John.
Yeah. Um, Somebody just caught it, saved it, and then just brought it to me the next time they said they was gonna go hoop. They was like, "Yeah, we finna go hoop up 10th Street, whatever, whatever." Come out, all right, I guess. And he just was like, "Here," and I'm like, "Why do I want that, bro? We was we was locked in. Just keep it because you was part of us."
When I
So
say
you know what I'm
you
saying?
that second joint, I hurt my rim. I tore my ACL the second season. It's funny
Yeah,
that we
Damn.
was like 0-2 or 0-3, but we was winning this game. I actually was playing. Oh, that's the crazy thing. I was playing well. I had the three. I had a layup. I had like 5 points in like the first 5-10 minutes, and it was 2:20 in the halves. Went up for a layup, landed in my knee buckled. I ended up tearing my ACL the second season. We won
and
the
I
game.
missed
Mm.
that game because I actually had a hyperextended knee, so I ended up missing that game
So,
that
but
you got hurt,
we
and I
ended up
came back the next game.
winning that joint, and that's how I feel you when you was talking about the Achilles. I remember that happened in the beginning of June. So my you figure that
Yeah,
whole summer I'm on the shelf.
yep,
Like
Mm.
whole summer I'm showing up, recording them, talking trash from the sideline. But man, it's a part of you that's just sitting there like, dang man, like I wish I could get out there. Like I
yeah,
remember when I got approved, and then like our job did that basketball joint too. Remember, not
yeah,
yeah, our
yeah.
job did a joint where like they got a gym and a
In the
bunch of
same gym, we was in the same gym.
and I'm sitting there like, dang, man, I can't even play at this joint. And at that point, I had just gotten approved to like take set shots. My surgeon was like, yeah, you can take free throws, but you can't do
Yeah, you
nothing else.
can't
So like,
hoop.
I'm out there,
Yeah,
like it's a video of me with my phone posted up somewhere in my Google Photos, like just shooting free throws on myself. But so I feel that man, when you can't get out there, it hits different. But man,
yeah,
just the need to be there. And you know, again, shout out to my mom. She was still watching the kids when I couldn't play, just so I could go out there and be with y'all because she recognized like, yo, you like I see how much it lightens you up. I see how much you get excited. Like I see you smiling. I see how happy you are afterwards. And I know you can't play, but if you want to go sit out there with him, I'll still sit with your son while you go do that. So shout out to my mom for
shout
doing
out to
that.
her for real.
Like
Can't
I
ask where the women at. It was women in here earlier. Sunny was here earlier. Kim was here when we first started.
where the woman at.
Um, Misha on vacation, but they heard us talking about your guy talk maybe and was like, y'all got it.
They tuned up.
Y'all got
Oh
it.
man.
I'm still here.
Cause
I was
bitches ain't no, I'm
Oh.
cat. Wait, this not that podcast. It's
clip
not that
clip that.
podcast.
Clip that.
Click that. Nah. There was quite a few women who showed up earlier. They took their leave. Um Speaking of which, we had an hour 30. I think this was a good sufficient conversation. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I think we talked about, quite a few things. Hopefully, I'm trying to line Daquan up for part two of this, Reese.
mm,
I'm
that's
trying to
fine.
line him up for part two of this because I was inspired by the episode we both did for my brother, when we all had that conversation
Right, right.
um, about mental health during the pandemic, and
Mm-hmm.
how gaming impacted and helped us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have that conversation with him next, hopefully Sunday. But yeah, this was dope. I appreciate both of y'all for coming through. Where you say we don't do that when we are there for them. Listen, it is what it is. We don't expect
It's different.
necessarily. Yeah, we don't expect women to be women. We gotta make men be men. That's the first, you know what I'm saying,
You know what I'm
Lego that
saying?
we gotta connect is making sure that men be men, the men we around behave like men, and we provide an example for those men who don't behave like men so they can know what men look like. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
right.
that's really it at the end of the day. Women, the quote unquote submissive women, I guess they'll make their way around when they get to it. But at the end of the day, that's not our job. I think that's one of the things that we got to make sure we push a lot more into the mainstream is that our job is to make sure that men are being men, make sure we're being men, make sure the men around us are standing on that same business, and
Facts.
everything else just got to take care of itself. You're always going to have some males who don't fit. You know what I mean? Pause. Some males who
Oh,
make us look
easy.
bad. I caught myself on that one. We always gonna have some else that make us look bad. That there's a poor representation, and you can't help that. You just make sure that you're the proper representation. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a father, so you just make sure you're proper representation for your kids. Um, and that's the most you can do. That's the best you can do, bro. And that's what we just gonna do. We gonna support each other in doing such. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's for our kids, for whoever we got a mentor, for our brothers who's out here with us doing the same thing. Like I said, man, create your tribe, bro. Create it.
Yeah.
Create it. That's why I wanted to have the lifeline, man. So that I didn't have to wait around to meet like-minded people that I next week can we talk about pause? Oh, we not talking about pause until you make time to come on the show and argue about it.
Right.
When you make time to come on the show and argue about it, Kane, we gonna have that conversation. I'm saving that conversation specifically for you, bro. Specifically for you, because I know how you feel about it. So I'm saving that conversation specifically for you, bro. So you could
You bring
turn
it
up
up
and say
every
everything you
podcast.
gotta say. Every podcast. To the point where sometimes I just say it on his post just to get on his nerves. I ain't gonna lie.
It don't
And
even
sometimes
pause.
you
You
supposed
just
to
say
say
it.
pause. You got like some calls be heavy on the pause word. You got
Some jokes do sound crazy. I ain't gonna
right.
lie.
Like I know you
But
got. I'm grilling on Monday for Memorial Day, and my brother will be there. If he walk up to me and say like, "Yo, can I get that sausage?" He gotta
Hey yo. Hey
he gotta
yo.
pause that. Like,
especially if he say put it between my buns, you gotta
right.
pause it.
Oh no.
2 weeks, 2 weeks. That sound good. That sound good. That sound good. Lock it.
2 weeks.
We'll DM me and let's lock that date in, King. I look forward to it.
Oh, okay.
I look forward to it. But I appreciate you, brothers, for coming on to the podcast, holding it down in the absence
Yes,
of our
sir.
beloved co-host Mimi the Goddess. Um, anything that you guys need to, put out into the lifers, what I mean, out to the lifeline, before we close out that they, Myron, actually, I want you to speak on what you got coming back into play. I want you to speak into that because I know there's multiple women who would be interested.
Oh,
And
what?
the firearm training.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm starting my firearm training, safety operations course back up. So I just charge a little $100. You get to learn how to use some firearms, how to handle them safely, how to break them down, stuff like that, how to hold them, how to aim, all that. Philly
Okay.
area.
I heard the man. If you're in the Philly area and you want to learn how to, get decent, get comfortable, be safe with a firearm, whether you have one or not, reach out to him. Reach out to Myron Hyman. You know what I'm saying? Have your hundo ready and, take the training. Reese, you got anything? I mean, of course, pick up your, quick 15 and everything else. It's your light. You got it.
so I just joined a Quick 15 Network podcast with my boys Bandic Mobley and V Brown, the actor singer. So we're we cooking, man. We cooking, man. Matic just released a few reels for one of the episodes we recently filmed, and we cooking, man. So look up a Quick 15 Network on YouTube. My brother and my brother, figuring out ways to expand it. Just transparently, man, it was taking a lot, and I know you know about this when you're a one man wrecking crew.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a lot to book people, facilitate the conversation, record everything, edit everything. And like I mentioned earlier, my mom passed in 2022, so I kind of took a pause on that to take care of my mental health. You know what I mean? So, but I'm with a Quick 15 podcast, which is great because you got two other people in those trenches with you. I'm cooking. I got a fatherhood event coming up on June 7th. I know I sent you the flyer. It's
Yes,
called
sir.
it's called Finding Freedom in Fatherhood, and we're figuring out what we can do for dads to be free because we become puppeteers sometimes, especially if you're in a co-parentship, or even if you're in a
Hmm.
marriage. Sister's like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna show up because my wife want me to show up here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna let the mom do everything until she decides she want to go out. Then I'm tagging in. So it's figuring out how to be free if you're in a co-parentship, how to not be clashy and button. So
Mm-hmm.
my good boy AB, he's a licensed therapist. He'll be facilitating some discussions. I'm putting some skits together, and then we'll come together and kind of discuss what we see. So, like one of the skits, for example, is dad's at the park with his daughter. Baby mom shows up to pick the daughter up. They get into an altercation. We're gonna pause at the end of the altercation and discuss it as dads, as fathers. What could he have done to avoid that? You know what I mean? What could you have done to avoid that? How can you protect your peace after that? Next skit, he come home, wife, yeah, my baby mom, we got him, blah blah blah. Wife goes on, well, next time I'm coming with you. Okay, you know what I mean? How do you navigate that? So like we want to create some real life skits, discuss them as men, figure out how we can best navigate them. So that's June 7th. That'll be at 800 North Broad Street. And other than that, man, like just challenging myself to be better. I got a tattoo on this side that say be better. But honestly, I'm really trying to live this tattoo now. And it just says be better. And
I'm digging it.
the question I'm asking myself a lot now is, what do I want my life to look like 5 years from today? And how are the
Mm-hmm.
choices I'm making today leading me to get there in 5 years?
That's
And
fine.
now that I'm thinking about life like that, man, it's just making things so much easier. It's like, yo, in 5 years, like, what do I want my life to look like? How does that decision get me closer to my life looking that way? And you just start making better decisions, honestly
Hey,
speaking.
that's what matter, bro.
When you start thinking about it like that and those reasons in like every area of life. So if you're listening to this, man, I challenge you to just start asking yourself that question. Like, how does this decision lead me to creating the life that I want for myself? Um,
That's
so
fine.
that's where I'm at, man. And thank you for having me, man. This is always a
Oh,
pleasure.
man, thanks for
Always a
coming,
pleasure.
bro. Thanks for
Facts.
sliding back through, man. Like everything fell the way it was supposed to. Everything fell the way it was supposed to. This wasn't no accident that, you know what I'm saying, Mimi was going and I was able to book you for this week, able to book Myron. You know what I'm saying? This was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to happen. Um, Even Kane showing up when he showed up in the chat. That's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen because now I got him booked and for another 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Pause.
a- as for booked, we pausing booked.
Nah, just to mess with the ball, just to mess with the ball.
Oh yeah, just
Just to mess with
oh,
you.
oh man, that's
That's
hilarious.
it.
As for me, I apologize to the YouTubers who follow the game and stuff that I put out. I don't know what's going on with my YouTube connection, but it's still on Twitch. My retrospective of NBA Live 19 was Live 19 really that bad? The first round of the playoffs is over. It's kind of late, so I doubt I'm gonna get the I'm gonna get to round two tonight. But if so, again, it's on Twitch, life be lifing underscore nine. And I'm gonna try to find a way to get the stuff back on the Life Be Lifing um page. So, people could enjoy that, comment, react, whatever they want to do with that. Um, and I'll put the clips on my TikTok, Nairi You Nerd. That's Nairi, the way my name is spelled, you, the letter, and then nerd. Also, I was on the Mr. Know It All podcast. Shout out to him. Shout out to his co-host Kelly Q. Shout out to his social media manager Taya. We were all there having a good old time last Sunday, and that episode should be dropping this weekend, episode 203. So check that out, episode 203 of the Mr. Know It All podcast. When Mimi comes back next weekend to celebrate her birthday, we will be having Game Night Part 2. If you're around for Game Night Part 1, like to let you know how
Oh
lit that
yeah.
was, how fun that was. So we're going to run it back for her
Oh
birthday.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Next Thursday. And then after that, I guess we'll have Kane on and we'll be able to make some magic there too. We got things running,
Whoa.
y'all. We got things running. Pause that. On behalf of A.C.E, my brother, that's who he always be, on behalf of Denver's mom, aka the owner of Simply Shea Catering and co-owner of Second Line Express, Miss Keish with the cakes. And on behalf of our co-host in absentia, Mimi the Goddess, aka Big Mish, and on behalf of these two brothers here, be smart, be respectful, be kind to as many people as you possibly can. I know people gonna make that impossible. Forget those people. Just make sure every single day. Okay, self-care is not selfish. Make sure every single day to take the time out to be kind to yourselves because you cannot pour out of an empty cup. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. We can't wait to get back. Like I said, hopefully I got a bonus episode for y'all coming up. Um, and then we just gonna make that work. All right. Pause. All right, y'all. Be safe and stay dangerous. We about to
Love, man. Love you guys.
Peace.